Hey everyone, welcome to another night of Wednesday night OWCP chats with Gini and
Chris.
this guy that doesn't need Google because he has his wife that knows everything.
I'm like every other man out there that's married. We don't need Google anymore. Nope.
Anyways, we hope you guys are all doing okay. Tonight, we're going to be talking about knee issues.
We'll talk about some other stuff too, but knee issues are close to me, close to my heart, so to speak. If my heart were dark, black, and hard, and angry, my knees would be close to my heart.
Yeah. So, while Chris is doing the housekeeping, I'm going to share, so please hold your questions.
Yeah, hey, seriously, don't ask any questions yet because we learned something, or I learned something last week, that when she's sharing, what she's doing right now so she can get to all the pages that we'd like to have, Ron said, you got her heart? Barely, Ron. When she's sharing, when you start asking questions, when she comes back, she can't see anything that happened before she started sharing. So just hang on to your questions. Otherwise, you're going to need to write them again. So if you ask a question, even though I just said don't, it's okay. But then don't get mad at us. Just ask your question a second time because we're going to miss it. And we don't want to miss it.
And I have a lot of sharing to do. So be patient and tell us where you guys are from and what craft you are. We'd like to hear. The list that everyone sent me, I posted a list because we have a doctor. She's coming on probably in about 90 days in Redondo Beach. We told you guys last week.
Probably much faster than that.
Probably.
Yeah.
So I asked you guys where in California would be good cities for you guys, to be close to without driving hours. Because we know California, you can be on one side of the state and it takes you almost all day or more than a day to get across. So let us know, besides California, what city you'd like, because Joe...
Besides California?
Besides California.
Besides Redondo Beach?
Yeah.
Besides California?
Yeah, besides California.
So if you're in California, don't tell us anything. That's what she just said.
Yeah, because we already did that list, because Joe is on here.
See, that even confused me.
Joe is on here, and he'll be writing down different cities and seeing what doctors would like to participate with
So
us.
basically, tell us where you're located. Before we get started, go to breakingowcp.com. Breakingowcp.com. I wrote a couple of books for you. They're meant to make your life easier, to help you understand this system that has confusion built into it. There is no confusion built into these books. They're simple, and they really simplify this whole process. We talk about a topic here and there from the book while we're here. We welcome you to be here every Wednesday night, 8 o'clock. We do this every Wednesday. But to get the full story, go to Breaking OWCP. These are $8.97 a piece when you buy them together, so that's cheap, and I pay for shipping. You don't. So breakingowcp.com. People that are here are going to tell you that the book is great. I appreciate anyone saying that. The book is definitely informative. It'll help you understand the system. So go check it out at breakingowcp.com. And then like, follow, and share. Those are the three things you have to do while you're here. Like, follow, and share.
I would really prefer you follow instead of like, but it doesn't matter. Just please click that follow button.
I mean, if you're only able to hit one button,
then hit it.
Then hit the follow button.
So those of you that are on here, we just said hold your questions so Chris can go through. Today we're talking about knees and the issues that everybody across the federal world suffers from some sort of knee issue. How to get it filed, which CA1 or CA2 to file, and going from there. And if you guys hear a boom, it's because it's about to downpour on us.
Yeah, I could be the weatherman here because it rains at the same time every day. I'd be the weatherman that gets it right every single day. I would never screw this up.
And then help me get to 10,000 followers. So if you already like the page, you just need to go to follow. And a lot of you, I've invited you. You haven't accepted the invite. So those of you that are on here, if you haven't followed, click the follow button. And tonight, let's try to get 100 shares. Everybody that's on here, all you have to do is just share at least just once or tag your people in your post. and then you can possibly be a share winner for August.
Yeah, so and I was telling my staff today that all of you know multiple people who have work-related injuries or conditions. You all have that going on. Everyone knows more than one person. You probably all know 3 to 5 people. What's up, Rich Ray? So you all know a lot of people, meaning you should all be sharing this with all those people. Let folks know that we're here teaching about OWCP so they stop having the trouble that they are absolutely having right now. So thanks for that. So like, follow, share, breakingowcp.com. And last but not least, go to federalinjurycenters.com if you want to know about any of the forms we talk about, or to look at our locations. We have a locations tab with like 36 offices listed in 15 or 16 different states. And you can go to, and I'd really appreciate if you do this, OWCPchats.com. We're going to have to list all these websites. And at OWCPchats.com, I've got rules, laws, and regulations. I've got special forms that I created just to help you with your special problems. You can find all the OWCP forms, and you can find our list of offices as well. But most importantly, it will require you to log in, register. I don't do anything with it except for look at it so I can see where you're located. When I see that there's a cluster of people located in an area, then we target that area to find an office because you need a doctor, obviously. So go to Breaking OWCP for the book, Federal Injury Centers to check out our locations, and OWCPchats.com to register primarily, so I know where you're at. Do that for us. We really appreciate it. Tonight I'm going to be talking about a number of things. I mean, bring all of your questions. Whatever you've got OWCP related, I'm happy to answer them. But I was talking with Joe over the last week, and I said, you know, there's a lot of people that have knee problems. And I'm one of them, okay? If you have knee problems, I'm just like you. I've got screws in both knees. Mine all happened from sports. I was an athlete as a kid. And so I blew out both of my knees, and it's awful. And, you know, over time, your cartilage wears out, and, you know, I've gotten more torn ligaments now because sometimes they just kind of give away. And you all do jobs that are harder than anything I ever did. You know, I was speaking with an ex-NFL player, or we were speaking with him in Dallas, and he said, you know, I wouldn't even do that job. Speaking of your job, and we were at that time specifically talking about letter carriers. In fact, he said, you know, letter carriers have a harder job than football players, which I think is right. You do it 8 hours a day or more, and they don't. You know, they get to rest. They have breaks in between. The ref blows a whistle. Your supervisor never blows a whistle and says take a break, ever. Instead, they're like, work harder, work faster, and things happen. You know, they go wrong. And so I was doing this math formula, which is crazy. Okay, don't be like me. And I said, okay, if I was a letter carrier whose job description says they walk 8 to 10 miles a day, well, let's say I walk 10 miles a day, and I did that 10-mile walk 5 days a week for the next 25 years. I mean, I don't know how many miles that is, but it sounds like a lot of miles. It sounds like if you put that many miles on your tire, you would change your tire. But you put that many miles on your knees, and then later on your knees are not in good shape. What do you do about it? And so the question came up, well, you know, are these knee injuries, are these CA1 or are they CA2 claims? Well, good question. It could be both. You know, you could just simply step down out of your vehicle and twist your knee. That's a CA1. You could be walking downstairs and your knee pop out. That's a CA1. Or you could be someone who's walking 8 to 10 miles a day over the last 20 years, and over time your knee just wore out. That's a CA2. And so you're allowed to get help for any of these situations. You can file a CA1 or a CA2 depending on the situation and get your knee better. Some of the doctors, now I'm going to give a disclaimer, I'm not a doctor. I'm not licensed anything. I'm not a physical therapist. I'm not a chiropractor. I'm not a medical doctor, a nurse practitioner, PA, or anything else, okay? I'm this guy, and I know everything about OWCP, so that's where I'm talking to you from. But I do have this other special thing where I work with doctors all the time. At Federal Injury Centers, some of our offices, and all the doctors are independent. They make their own choices as to what treatments are done, okay? They make their own medical judgments. But some of them specialize in knee cases. And so I was asking a few of them, you know, what do you do when the knee joint gives out? You know, a lot of people want to go straight to the surgeon. Many people think, and they're probably right, they need a knee replacement. Now, let me just tell you what a knee replacement does. Okay, they cut off your femur at the bottom and your tibia at the top and everything in between, and they get rid of it, and they put fake stuff in there. So they got to start by sawing your bones in half. That doesn't sound good to me. It doesn't sound good. And the scars are like long. And I'm a candidate, so I'm speaking from experience. I don't want a knee replacement. I have no interest in sawing off my femur, okay? None whatsoever. I don't want it. But that's just me. And so for me, I'm like, what are the alternatives? All right, well, there are surgeries where you can clean out your knee. All right, fine. Granted, you definitely can. But what happens over time is there's this cartilage that is in between the bones, okay? Like, say this is the femur, this is the tibia, the upper leg, the lower leg. Well, the knee joint has this cartilage, and see, there's space in between my hands. Well, over time, that space gets smaller and smaller because the cartilage gets flat or worn out and destroyed until you've got bones rubbing on bones, which causes arthritis of the knee, and it causes swelling and pain, and it's really terrible. And so, you know, I'm asking some of our doctors who do this, Dr. Cooper, for example, in Georgia and Alabama, Dr. Harper in Alabama, Dr. Lee here in Pinellas Park, Florida, Dr. Arcoleo in Chicago. I'm thinking there's another one, and I'm not thinking of it right now, but if I will. There are others. Oh, Dr. Heiler in Naples. So we've got offices or doctors that have this special equipment and are able to do these injections that they call viscosupplementation, okay? I don't know what that's about, but it's basically putting a substance in your knee that acts as padding and lubrication for the joint. And so when your cartilage wears out, you can put this stuff in it, and it will prolong your need for those surgeries. And it will allow you, in the matter of a day to 3 days, to be back at work walking that 10-mile route. So anyways, I was just talking to the doctors about it, saying, hey, you know, what can you do to help these, especially the carriers? I mean, but look, VA nurses, anybody that works at the VA, you're on your feet all day, every day.
Border Patrol running.
Border Patrol, you're running.
FBI runners.
Yeah, I was talking to a Border Patrol president in El Paso years ago. And he said, Chris, the people that we have to chase don't want to get caught. And our people get hurt. You know, they're running through weird terrain. You know, it's not flat surfaces for sure. And they blow knees out all the time. And then over time, those blowouts, like myself, they get worse and worse and worse. And it just feels like arthritis, you know, which is terrible. So if you get these injections, and I'm not suggesting you should get the injection because I'm not a doctor. You should speak to yours. But what they're telling me is these things will prolong your time to be able to work, potentially help you to make it all the way to retirement versus being on an operating table getting your knee sawed off. So I'm super motivated to not have my knee sawed off, as you may well be as well. So this is something that you should just know about. You don't live in the medical world like I do. So I hear about some things that you may not. This is one of them. Another thing that they can do these days is they do PRP injections, platelet-rich plasma injections, where they draw your own blood, they spin down the plasma and put it back in, or the platelets, and they put it back in. And then what that does is it improves healing in the knee joint. So there's so many neat things that they can do now to help you avoid these just nasty surgeries and to keep you on the job so you can make it to retirement. I know so many of you want to do that. So it's really rare that I come on and I talk about stuff like this. Normally I'm talking about procedures and how to file a CA1, how to file a CA2, and we'll talk about all that today too, or tonight. But I wanted to come on and just say, hey, if you're somebody like me and you're constantly dealing with knee pain, constantly, because I am, okay, and you'd like to stop dealing with it, there may be some help for you. You should talk to your doctors about this. If your doctors can't do it, they can very likely refer you to someone who can. And me personally, it's something that I've been involved in. I've been in the room with patients getting the injections, and they're painless. I mean, I've never seen anybody scream and cry because they got a knee injection, because they deadened it with lidocaine first. So it's pretty neat. It's safe. It's clean. I mean, I would definitely ask your doctor about their cleanliness, their safety procedures to make sure they're doing it right. But when it's done right, it's not done in a surgery center. It can be done in your own doctor's office. It's really simple. You walk in, you walk out.
For those of you that are hopping on, hold your questions until he says go. I know a lot of you are asking questions. It takes me a while to share, and I still don't get to share it all till after. So, and also, if you're not a federal employee, please don't post crap on here. I'm going to say that the last time. It will be deleted.
What's somebody posting? Oh, yeah, we don't talk about venereal diseases here in STDs. Sorry, that's not, you're needing a different show. You should go find that doctor and that place, and you go ask about your little warts because you got problems. We don't deal with that here. Here, we're just going to do federal workers' comp. You didn't think I'd say that out loud, huh?
No, but...
Don't bring that stuff to this page. Be cool. That's not nice.
Don't forget, this is for federal employees, nationwide, worldwide. If you don't understand what it is we do, just listen in. Don't post strange, weird things like that.
If you do, I'm going to call you out. It's fun, okay? I'm going to say so-and-so talked about genital warts. You know what? This is not what we're doing here.
Like you think I caught it?
We're not doing that here, okay? We're talking about workers' comp for federal employees. Can we just... Hey, get off this page. Get off this page. All right.
Okay, so
all right, look, I'm ready for your questions. After that, I'm almost ready to just shut this thing down, but we'll keep going.
Don't forget to follow, like, and share. We have, a week and a half till the end of August, and I said I wanted 10,000 followers. So please hop on, click the follow button, tell your friends, and don't forget to share for your chance to win a $100 gift card of your choice.
If you're watching, you should be sharing. This is simple. If you're watching, you should be hitting the follow button. It's easy. We really appreciate that. So just do us that favor. We don't have asked for anything. We're here to just serve you, to give you what you need, but we need you to follow. So hit the follow button, please.
All right, let's get to questions.
Questions, go!
Kiwana Gaines said, my lower back and pelvic area on the left side hurts as a result of knee surgery on the right. How do I get it all covered under OWCP? Great
question. So what you're talking about, now again, go speak to your doctor, but what you're talking about is a consequential condition. So what's happened is she's had this knee problem and probably limping around and all kinds of other stuff to compensate for the knee has caused other problems, in this case the back, right? And so what your doctor has to do is write a report called a consequential injury report, where they are now explaining why, because of that knee injury, you have a back problem. Had you never had the knee injury in the first place, your back would be just fine. And so the back is a consequence of the knee, and the doctor can add the back condition as an approved diagnosis to the knee claim.
Ashley Renee said, sadly, my injury is my neck. I have 2 herniated discs. Oh boy, flatten the sac, and I was told that the neck isn't covered. However, it affects my shoulders and it makes my hands go numb.
I don't know why the neck wouldn't be covered. Yeah, I don't know why the neck wouldn't be covered. The neck can be covered, should be covered. If it's a legitimate work-related condition, your neck should be covered. If it's causing shoulder problems, the shoulder should be covered. Any problem that you're having in your body that is because of work will be covered if it's a legitimate condition that happened at work or because of work.
Carol Martin said, what is the name of the first injection?
Okay, so there are different kinds. I appreciate you asking that. Again, remember, I'm not a doctor, and I know Carol knows that, but for everyone else, there are different kinds of injections. There's like Hyalgan, there's Synvisc, there's Hyalgan, there's Synvisc, so there's others.
PRP?
Well, there's a lot of different things that a doctor can inject that causes that cushioning and lubrication of the joint. There's not just one thing. Department of Labor covers several things. So what you got to do is go to your doctor and find out what they use, because they don't all use the same stuff, but what they're using provides that sort of gel cushioning lubrication that your knee needs so that you can make it through your next work shift.
Brad Morrow, thanks Chris for all the help you give everyone. Brad, what happened to me?
Well, I know Brad.
Oh.
Brad's from Princeton, Texas.
Brad Morrow?
Yeah. Hey, Brad. What's up, Brad?
Well, so much for me knowing you, Brad. Carol Jarman said, I wish I would have known all this before I had mine.
Man, Carol, I hear you. I know, but you're a perfect example for everyone else why you should be sharing this page. Carol would have loved to have known this information before now, but you get it when you get it because you're here, and thank you. But the rest of you can share this with someone else so they get the information before it's too late.
Michelle said, working in the plant at USPS 8 to 12 hours a day, concrete floors.
No doubt. In
Yeah.
fact, so I said carriers, and keep in mind, I'm only saying carriers because I know that carriers walk 8 to 10 miles a day for 20 to 35 years. But I'm not discounting what clerks and mail handlers do on the floor as well, because you're standing doing this work so the carriers can do their job too. And you stand on the workroom floor for that many years, that many hours, you're having these problems too. There's no question about it. Just like the VA nurses, just like anybody else who's walking and standing all day long.
Yeah.
It could happen to you too.
Alita Rowland said, please put those suggestions in the chat.
Sure. Yeah, which suggestions?
Yeah, which suggestions, Miss Rowland?
Yeah, I'm happy to do it. Whatever you're needing, we'll put it, but if you could just be a little more clear, please.
Stephen Kick said, I'm seeing Brian at the Gainesville location. Love it. He really seems to know what's going on.
Yeah, you know what? He put a special emphasis into his training, and I've been very impressed. Some of the doctors' offices are less than... some of them aren't going through the training like I like them to, but in Gainesville... they jumped right on it. So they should be commended for that.
Don Woodruff said, gel injections helped my knee 100%.
Yep, that's what we're talking about. I've been involved with these injections for like the last 15 years through working in doctor's offices. And I've seen, I don't want to exaggerate, I've probably seen 1,500 people, give or take, that have had these types of injections and had a lot of success. They leave almost the same day saying they feel better, that day. So it's pretty great.
Sarah said, what if DOL doesn't respond to an appeal request within the time period?
Call your claims examiner, ask what the heck is going on over there.
Venna Banks said, what about a hip replacement? I'm a letter carrier.
Yeah, those are covered. I hate that, but I think a lot of these injections can be done in the hip, the shoulder, the knee, because they lubricate and cushion the joint. So I think they can be done, but you should speak to your doctor about it. I know for sure they do them for knees. I think they can be done in hips and shoulders as well. I can also tell you that unfortunately for those of you like this person who had to have a hip replacement or is looking at it, Department of Labor will cover these hip replacements. They'll cover knee replacements. They'll cover shoulder replacements. I mean, to me it's horrific to have your bones cut out of your body, but they will cover it. But that's just a testament to how hard your jobs are. I mean, your jobs are so hard that we're talking about replacing body parts. So how about you acknowledge and tell your friends by sharing that your jobs are so hard that you shouldn't suffer through your work injuries. You should report them on time and get help. I say it all the time. I'll say it again. How are you going to make it to retirement if you can't make it through your next work shift? And you can't make it through your next work shift if it requires you to walk 10 hours a day or 10 miles a day and you got a bad knee. You got a tire that needs to be replaced. I'd like you to be able to make it to retirement. That's a goal of mine. It's important to me because I know it's important to you.
Ashley Renee said, my question is the evaluation rating, and is it true that my neck isn't covered? They have covered injections, but it hasn't helped. It affects my shoulders and makes my hands go numb.
So evaluation rating, I think you're talking about an impairment rating schedule award, if I'm not correct me. The spine is not covered in Department of Labor for impairment ratings. However, if it causes problems into your shoulders, all the way down into your hands or down into your feet, if it's lower back injury, those conditions can be covered and you can get an impairment rating on those.
Gloria Lojeski said 2 operations on the left foot and 1 on my right. My gait is off and I was told I see knee and hip problems. I've tried to get a case expanded and no luck. Can federal injury centers help me?
If we can't, nobody can.
Yeah, so Gloria.
No, I shouldn't have said it that way. Yes, we can help you.
Gloria, go to Federal Injury Centers right here, .com, and click locations and find a location that's close for you. That's not all the locations, everyone. There will be more coming. Danielle Brown said, do I need to mail my letter to Workers' Comp to change doctors so I can upload it, or can I upload it on the site?
You need to e-comp it. So that's what you mean by upload it. E-comp it. Make a note of the document control number, DCN, and the date and time. Make a note of that, because if your claims examiner says, I never got it, if you have that information, they'll be forced to find it.
Vanna Banks said, I had a hip replacement in 2019. I had no help from my union or anyone. I paid myself. They put my off my route.
Put me off my route.
Yeah. I changed stations. Someone hit me in the LLV. Oh. They swept it under the rug, and now I'm still walking. Can't do climbing stairs. They're still trying to make me walk that. Now I'm having knee issues, and my other hip is hurting. Please help. So, federalinjurycenters.com. See if there's a location. Number one, see if there's a location next to you, Vanna Banks, and then.
Well, and also, it kind of sounds like you might not have reported your injury, or you reported it but didn't fill out your CA1. If that's the case, you have 3 years from the date of injury to file your CA1 claim. On a CA2, so somebody that's walking 20 miles a day and now you have, or 10 miles a day for 20 years, now you have problems. You have 3 years from the date you knew it was work-related to report your injury. So you all have 3 years to report. There's no good excuse to not report your injury. If you don't report it, you're gonna suffer with it until you can't suffer with it anymore, and then you can't go to work, and the next thing you know, you're on disability making 40% of your income. Now, I just fast forwarded to like the worst case scenario, and that's not even the worst case scenario. I just don't like to talk about the worst. You need to report your injuries, period. You've got to do this. You can't say, I'll just tough it out and see what happens. Because let me tell you what happens. It gets worse.
Yeah.
Just toughing it out guarantees it's going to get worse. You might make it through tomorrow's work shift, but what about next month's work shift? What about next year's?
Yeah.
At what point can you stop, or do you have to stop making it through the next work shift? Because it's too painful. You can't live with a bottle of Advil.
No.
That'll eventually tear up your stomach. You can't live off, just pills, period. So get in and see a doctor. And just by the way, I started out talking about knees. Well, that knee thing that I told you about is the injection, and it's fantastic, But they also give you these knee braces that are called unloader braces. And here's what it does. So again, we're looking at the knee joint, right? So your knee right now, if you're like me, is bone on bone, and that sucks. This unloader brace, when they adjust the brace to you, this is what it does to your knee. Watch. It pulls it apart. And so when you're wearing this brace, you get some relief. It's not rubbing bone on bone. So that's the other thing it does for you. All of these doctors that do this program, this knee thing, they'll give you the injections. They'll do some therapy because therapy is important. It gets the knee really going again. But they'll give you that knee brace, which will help you get back to work. The next time you go back, you can wear it.
Yeah.
This is the stuff you need. And if you're not reporting your injury, you're not going to get to a doctor who can help you the way I'm talking about. Report your injuries.
Ashley Renee said, can I still see my doctor after an evaluation rating?
Yes, you can. You have lifetime medical benefits for accepted claims. If your claim is not accepted, you do not have lifetime medical benefits. You have no benefits if your claim is not accepted. Sadly, about 6 out of 7 injured people don't have accepted claims nationwide. At federal injury centers, it's like 7 out of 7 has accepted claims. So all of our experience is just like winning. We get your claim accepted, we get you better. And back to work, and you can make a retirement. You don't have to, go on disability. It still happens occasionally because there's certain things outside of our control. But you got to get your claim accepted so that you can access those benefits.
Cheryl Ritter said, how do you prove your knee issues are from USPS clerk? 32 years, been getting shots for a few years, never claimed work injury.
That hurts my feelings.
Yes, Cheryl.
The good news for you, Cheryl, is you don't have to prove it. Your doctor will. They'll have to write a narrative report that explains what you do for a living. And in that, they'll explain that you stand 8 to 10 hours a day, and that you've done that 5 days a week for the last 30 some odd years. And if they were me, they would add up how many hours of standing that is on cement floors. And then they would say, prior to working for USPS, you didn't have any knee problems. And through your 30 whatever years of working for USPS, you were not a weekend athlete, rock climber, skier, any of that stuff. You didn't do anything that would have led to having knee problems. The only thing in your life that has anything to do with your knee is your job. And we rule everything else out so that all that's left is a job. And then it's obvious, clearly it's your job.
Renee Marie, first of all, Renee, thank you for the stuff you're always putting down.
Yeah, we
there.
appreciate the help.
So if anybody wants the website, the book information, our phone number, Attorney Eric Blowers, all our online stuff,
She's got you covered.
Down. She said, I recently got a magazine from the Rural Union. inside it's saying if you need help with an OWCP case, you have to fill out a special form before they can help you at all. And my understanding is there is no person at national office who helps. And who put this notice in the magazine? Have you heard about this before? And is it typical they have to sign saying they aren't liable for advice given, etc.?
Well, I am aware that the rural letter carriers do that. And yes, Devin Cassidy is in the Alexandria, Virginia office, and he specializes in OWCP.
Yeah, there's Devin. He's a really good guy.
Devin and I like each other. I have no problem with Devin.
Devin.
But he's one guy, and there's a whole bunch of you. As far as this form goes, what they're doing is they're basically covering they're making sure that if there's any liability, it doesn't fall back on them because they're helping you. Whatever, that's fine. If you call any of us, we won't make you fill that form out, and we'll help you.
Cindy Cardona said, 22 years as a mail carrier, my knees and hips are hurting from time to time.
Yeah.
Get that taken care of if you haven't filed for it.
And I want to just, again, I'm not a doctor. When you go see your doctor may have a different plan of attack to help you.
Yeah.
You should follow your doctor's orders. I'm only saying this is one thing that I like, that I see our doctors doing. There are other things. Go talk to your doctor about it. The one thing I won't tell you to do is just suffer through it. Don't do that. It's terrible to do that. Don't do that to yourself. Go get help.
Lizette Goodlet said, what do I do about them not giving me a modified job? I've had restrictions since May, and they're still are not acknowledging my restrictions.
Well, your claim has to be accepted, is it? If it is, they're required by law to offer you a limited duty assignment. If it's not, we need to work on getting your claim accepted so that they have to follow that law.
Rajesh Nagpal said, I do get trigger finger on the job sometimes. Took the shots, still not perfect.
Yeah, my recommendation there, I don't know a lot about trigger finger except for I know how it happens.
It's painful too.
Yeah, you just need to go back to your doctor and say, hey doc, this isn't working, what else do you have for me? What a lot of people do is they say, well, it didn't work, so I just quit. Don't ever quit, ever. Go back to the doctor and have them figure it out. They have other things they can probably do for you.
Ashley Renee said, can I get fired if I'm given a disability rating, say I can't meet the requirements for my job?
Well, they're not allowed to fire you for having a legitimate work injury. They're going to try to place you someplace that you can do the job. They should offer you a limited duty assignment. Some supervisors will be kind enough to give you a permanent limited duty. You need to be working with your union to get help on that. That's going to be important for you.
Portal Maria said, is the schedule award a one-time payment or various payments?
Well, it's a schedule, so theoretically it's supposed to be paid over the number of weeks in the schedule chart they have. So it's not typically a one-time payment, no.
Kim Davis, I'm going to just not read your question.
Oh, Kim. Kim, now you know I can't say that out loud.
All right. Michelle said, just had my knee cleared out. Never thought to claim comp. If I need a replacement or anything further, is it still possible to claim OWCP then?
You have 3 years from the date you knew your problem was work-related. Think about what I just said to you. You have 3 years from the date you knew your problem was work-related. So on your CA2 form, I think number 11, box 11 says, when did you first start noticing the problem? And box 12 says, when did you realize it was work-related? You have 3 years from when you realized it was work-related. If you realized it was work-related 4 years ago, you can't follow OWCP. But if it was 3 years or less, you can.
Don't forget, those of you that are new on here, welcome. I'm Jeannie, this is Chris. We help federal employees nationwide, all crafts, all the agencies, all the unions.
Yes, we do.
And don't forget to click follow.
You got to hit the follow button.
And share.
You got to hit the follow button.
And click the share button.
It's a condition of being here next week. I'm
all right.
kidding. Don't make me shut down this page. Yeah, like, follow, and share, please.
Okay, I know I'm going to butcher this name.
Talisha
doing me.
Well,
that's so cute.
That's nice.
I'm a custodian that has been injured. My claim wasn't accepted as they have been penalizing me ever since they went back to the date of injury.
Your union should be fighting that. They're not allowed to penalize you for reporting an injury. That's against the law. It's a crime to penalize, retaliate, or anything for anybody that reports an injury. That is a crime. You can contact OSHA at 1-800-321-OSHA and ask them if you have a claim.
Daniela Brown, thank you for your help today. I went to my first appointment at the Federal Injury Centers in Charlotte, North Carolina. I feel so much better about the issue.
That's really great. Yeah. So, what's happening, for those of you that are new, we own a franchise. It's called Federal Injury Centers. That franchise recruits doctors to help you with OWCP injuries. We do this because we know that doctors aren't trained, and the reason most of your claims are denied is because most of you go to doctors who don't know what they're doing. And so what we've done is we've recruited and we've trained doctors, right now 36 locations in 15 or 16 states, which is a huge deal, okay? That was 35 or 36 locations that never existed before. And in most of your states, there hasn't been a single doctor that would be willing to help you. If you're in Florida, there's like 17, 18 offices now that can help you throughout the state of Florida. There's 4 in Alabama. There are 3 or 4 in Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, and Memphis, Dallas and McKinney, Texas, Miami, by the way. I know I said 18 Florida offices, but I was just talking with her today in Miami. Maryland, Virginia.
Yeah, go check us out on
the Boston area.
.com.
And Redondo Beach, California, the newest location. So, we've built these but we're training these doctors so that, like the person who went to Dr. Cox in Charlotte, when you leave there, you're like, oh, thank God. They actually know what they're talking about. Yeah. Our offices aren't allowed to take money from you. They're not allowed to ask for your insurance card. And they're not allowed to screw up your case or get your claim denied. Those are no-nos. We don't do any of that stuff. So I'm really happy that worked out for you. I'm really, really happy.
Talisha said, due to stress, I've been thinking about resigning. If I do, what happens to my claim?
Well, if you've already filed your claim, resigning won't affect that. You can still have your claim approved. You can still get medical attention for your condition. But you won't be able to be paid for any time off work because you don't work there anymore.
Ashley Renee said, I keep being told that I have to get a letter from my doctor saying I can do my job in 6 months, but if I can't get a disability rating stating that I can't do my job, can I get fired if I already answered this question? Skip it.
No, I don't want to skip it. If your claim is approved, they're not going to be able to fire you. They're going to have to help you, but you need to get with your union and make sure your union is guiding that help. Okay, you don't want your supervisors in charge of what happens next because they usually have bad intentions.
Kim Davis said, question about compensation. Do you get the 75% if you have dependents for a limited time? Someone told me it's only for a year, then you get cut.
Well, it depends on the craft, Kim. Rural carriers, I think, go 2 years, but I could be wrong on that. You guys will have to talk amongst yourself, but I think I'm right. And the number of dependents does determine what your compensation rate is, either basically 66 2/3% or 67 or 75%. Depends on the number of dependents.
Yeah. Ron Speakman said, all Chris does and Federal Injury Centers does is win, win, win.
No matter what, Ron. No matter what.
Lizette Goodlett said, can I see more than one doctor for an injury, such as an injury for my shoulder and another doctor for my back?
You definitely can. For each injury claim, you have the right to choose your own doctor. This is the law, and it's written down in like 5 different places. You definitely can choose your own doctor. You can go to, if you have, God forbid, 8 different injuries, you can go to 8 different doctors.
But it's wise just to go to one.
Yeah, like I was talking to a lady today who went to Dr. Harper in Birmingham. And then later on, she had another problem, and she went to American Family Care. And her words, not mine, she referred to it as something to the effect of Doc in the Box, or I don't know.
We've heard that.
No, I don't know. And I don't have personal experience with American Family Care, so I'm not bad-mouthing them. I don't know. This is what this person said. But my point was, she went to Dr. Harper the first time and got her claim accepted. And then after having an accepted claim and getting that taken care of, she went to American Family Care for the next claim. I don't recommend that, okay? I recommend going where you know you're going to get your claim approved. And like Dr. Harper's got more claims approved than all other Federal Injury Centers offices combined.
Oh, he started much longer too.
Whatever.
So
he's killing it.
he is killing it.
So, if you want to that good, happy, winning feeling. You go where they win. And if you're not so big on winning, go where they lose. But go where they win.
Ashley Renee said, y'all give good advice.
Thank you.
Oh, let me touch on this so you guys know, because this was a situation. When you guys go to the emergency room or even a walk-in clinic and it says, see your orthopedic surgeon.
Maybe not so much.
Try not to go to an orthopedic surgeon until you see a DOL doctor. You guys get my drift? Let the doctor that's supposed to be your DOL doctor refer you out and go from there. Don't just go to the ortho, because this is what will happen. Your claim will get denied.
You know what else will happen?
What'll happen?
Your claim will get denied.
So, see your DOL doctor, and most surgeons and specialists take time. Stay with that treating doctor and get your stuff done until you can see the orthopedic surgeon.
Yeah, like if you were at, and I'm just using, because I already said his name, let's say you're at Dr. Harper's office in Birmingham or Montgomery, Alabama. He's going to make the appropriate referrals. He's not a surgeon. If you have a surgical case, he's going to refer you to a surgeon. But what's going to happen is that surgeon's just going to do the surgery and ask you for money if your claim's not approved.
Yep.
They're not going to fill out your CA-17s because it takes work. They're not going to fill out your CA-20s because it takes work. They're not going to write your disability narratives because it takes work. All they're going to do is do the surgery, move on, and send you a bill.
Yep.
But if you see, for example, Dr. Harper first, and I'm not telling you to go, he's an example. He's going to get your claim approved, and then the surgeon's never going to ask you for money. And then Dr. Harper will continue to fill out your CA-17s and your CA-20s and write your disability narratives so you can get paid. So it's all a matter of just who you go see first and what you have them do. That's really important.
Yeah. Regardless
of who your doctor is, it doesn't have to be Dr. Harper. Be sure that your treating doctor is in charge of the case, so they're doing the things it takes for you to get paid. That's important.
Janet McIntosh said, my claim has been accepted and spoke with DOL 2 weeks ago, said they would be working on my pay last Tuesday. Just curious, how long does this process normally take?
Well, it takes some time, but they want you to turn your CA-7s in every 2 weeks so you can get paid on time, and they're going to pay you at least once a month. If you don't get paid and instead you get a letter in the mail denying compensation, that letter is going to say specifically your claim for compensation is denied because, and you'll have to figure that out and then have your doctor write a report to get it overturned.
Kiwana Gaines said, when can you file your schedule award?
Okay, so this is a topic that I speak about in length in my book, Breaking OWCP, in both books, especially the second one, because here I wrote I created a worksheet so you can figure out how much your schedule award will be financially, how much you're going to make off your schedule award. So check those out, breakingowcp.com. But in the book, what you're going to find out is you can have a schedule award when your doctor medically puts you at maximum medical improvement, or MMI. It's not a decision you can make. I can't make it for you. Nobody can, only your treating doctor. At that point, they do a 6th edition impairment rating. If they do a 5th, it will definitely be denied. And then you attach that impairment rating to your claim for compensation, CA-7, and select letter D, schedule award, and turn it all in together. That's how it works. If you want a schedule award, you've got to be at maximum medical improvement. And that means you need to follow your doctor's orders until your doctor says, we've done everything we can, you're at MMI. If you don't follow doctor's orders, you're not at MMI yet because you haven't done the treatment or whatever else. Now, with the exception of surgery, you do not have to have surgery. If the doctor thinks you need it and you say, I'm not having surgery because I don't like anesthesia, or because I don't like needles, or I don't like scalpels, or whatever, okay? You cannot be forced to do anything. But then you can be at MMI because you didn't accept the surgery. So that would be an exception.
Florence, we do not have anything in New Mexico as yet.
But we do have a new office in Tucson, Arizona. Everyone, welcome Dr. Heaton. David Heaton has agreed to join Federal Injury Centers. When I say agreed, he's actually very enthusiastic. Him and his wife, Drew, are very enthusiastic about joining. His wife, Drew, she and I were having a conversation a few years ago. Her father has passed away. But I said, so your dad was a Marine? And she stopped me. She said, no, once a Marine, always a Marine. So even in the afterlife, that man's still a Marine. But he was also a letter carrier. He was a member of NALC. So they have a special heart for what we're doing here. And also, as a side note, I trained Dr. Heaton years ago, and Dr. Heaton wouldn't dream of getting a denied claim. So Tucson, Arizona. I'll be posting his address and phone number on our website soon, so you can go there.
Renee Marie said, is it typical to not see any forms on e-comp such as your CA1, CA17s, etc.?
Yeah, well, you shouldn't be e-comping CA1s and 17s, etc. You can e-comp CA7s, OWCP 915s, OWCP 957s. You can e-comp narrative reports, but the CA1 and CA2 should be sent in by your supervisor. Now, many of you are filling those out on e-comp, and that's okay because you're required to. Some of you still use paper. Your supervisor turns that in, but the rest of that stuff you should, you either turn it into your supervisor or you've turned the forms in I told you about through e-comp.
Carol said, can I have 2 doctors for my claim? I need my shoulder to be looked at. I want another doctor to take care of my shoulder.
Yeah, so what you do is you tell your treating doctor to make a referral to a shoulder specialist. And then go back to your treating doctor so they can take care of everything else.
Ashley Renee said, make sure you have a 3971, which we did a video on that. You can go down to our video and find that.
Yeah, if you're a postal employee and you need to be off of work, fill this form out.
Make sure you have a 3971 saying that you're away from work because they haven't given you a modified duty assignment, because I didn't get one and they didn't compensate me, and they said I could face disciplinary action because I just wasn't showing up to work.
All right, so this is where I want to jump in. I can't make your supervisor stop doing all that nonsense. But those of you union reps that are here watching, you should be personally offended that this stuff happens to your members. I'm personally offended that it happens. This is where I can't do anything else, and I hate the word can't. Like, I'm the last one to use can't. But this is where there's a line, and if I cross it, I'm crossing a line, literally. It's your job. I can't cross that line. That's your spot. This is mine, that's yours. When supervisors are giving your members a hard time, you got to go in there and make it so painful that they never want to give the next person a hard time again. You got to file grievances and EEO claims and OSHA claims and labor board charges. You got to do whatever it takes. And I know it's a lot of work, and you're all doing the job too, just like everyone else, and carrying the mail, sorting the mail, casing the mail. You're doing it too. You're in VA hospitals, you're nurses. You're doing all kinds of jobs that aren't just union jobs, and I understand. But you signed up for the union job. And when your members come to you and say, my supervisor's doing blank to me, you got to do something about it. Because I'm telling you right now, if I could file a grievance on their behalf, I would do it.
He would.
If I could file EEO claims on their behalf, I would do it. I'd stay on the phone with OSHA, 1-800-321-OSHA, all day, every day, if I thought I could make a difference. But it's not something I can do. You have to help them. So don't let your members struggle. That's not fair. Don't let this happen. Imagine if it was you. What would you want? You'd want someone's help. They need your help too.
Gamel Wright said, how do I file a claim for occupational injury?
Well, that's a CA2. And all you got to do is go to your supervisor and say, I need to fill out a form CA2. And they're going to say, whoa, why? Why do you need that? And your answer needs to be something to the effect of, because. They don't have a right to reject it. They have to let you fill it out. So just go to your supervisor and say, I need to fill out a form CA2. You fill out the first page, they fill out the second page, and then you get a copy of everything.
Yep. Sabrina said, I recently re-injured my knee. I already have an allowance on my case. I didn't have an accident or anything. Are there any forms I need to fill out? The doctor has put me off of work.
If your claim's approved, you need to be filling out a CA7 and maybe a CA7A if it's intermittent time off. Definitely do that. If you've paid money out of your pocket, fill out an OWCP 915 and get your money back. If you've been driving up to 100 miles round trip to get to the doctor, you should get reimbursed for that with an OWCP 957.
Brenda Hammond said, I've been waiting on a schedule award 1 year this month. What can I do? I contacted them on e-comp several times this year only to hear they are working on it.
I mean, I don't have a better answer than that. If they're working on it, all you can really do is just call your claims examiner and say, hey, is there anything else you need? What can I do to help you help me? That might be the way to go.
Roxanne Kimball said, why is it OWCP treats us like we are criminals because we got injured on the job? Any other place takes care of their employees. I've been out now a little over 2 years and still waiting for my third reconsideration. Why aren't we compensated for our losses? I have been paid for now 11 months. I've lost everything because of OWCP.
I hear that. So, first of all, let me tell you that no one else, like if someone was not a federal employee, like let's say they're an employee of a private company, they're not getting taken care of. They're treated as disposable workers. You think you're treated bad? Imagine not having the backing of a federal program to help you. With that said, yeah, this is a common problem. This is why I wrote these books. This is why we go on here every week and we try to teach people what's going on, because we know you're treated very badly. But I can tell you, it's not, OWCP doesn't have it out for you. They're not trying to hurt you. They don't want you to fail. Generally speaking, your claim is denied because your doctor did a bad job. Like 11 out of 10 times, the doctor just did a terrible job.
Yeah, if you're getting hurt and you filed 3 reconsiderations, you may want to find another doctor.
Yeah, because that means your doctor's just writing terrible reports.
Yeah.
Our doctors write great reports. And I'm not saying you have to go to our doctors, because you don't. You're welcome to be here. I'm going to help you regardless. But the key is a doctor's got to be able to write a great narrative report. And it's got to be able to look at a letter of denial from the Department of Labor and understand it, and then rebut it with another report, a narrative report. I spend probably 5 hours a week training doctors just on that, and just on how to write these reports. And over a 52-week period, I'm putting in a lot of time training doctors to write these reports. So that's what you need. You need someone who will write a narrative report and stop these denials. Once your claim is approved, you'll be able to go and fix everything. But you first have to have your claim approved.
Gamel and Ashley, what about New Jersey and San Antonio?
So we just talked to a doctor in San Antonio. I'm a Texan. I live in Florida, but I'm from Texas. And we've got some options going in San Antonio. One of our Florida doctors has a hospital that he's in charge of the ER in San Antonio. And then we just talked to a doctor that's in like the northwest quadrant of the loop, I think 610, I think it is, around San Antonio. So we're putting some work in on that and trying to get it done.
Taisha, I was denied from a narrative, but a reconsideration as just mailed in, but my job made me fill out a request for light duty, but keeps saying they don't have work, then turn around and went as far as a 7-day suspension. Oh.
Your union's got to get involved with that. I don't know how you can be suspended when you're hurt, but you know, meaning management, they're going to do to you what you allow. That's what's going to happen. Whatever you don't fight back, they're going to do more of. And when I say fight, I don't mean physically. I mean get your union involved.
Michelle Walter said, my claim was approved. How long can I stay on a modified assignment? I'm a rural carrier. I fell on ice in the parking lot.
Well, modified assignment's tricky. You can be off of work for like 2 years. I'm not sure how long a rural carrier can have a modified assignment, but some of you here are rural carrier union reps, and I'd be really grateful if you'd answer her question.
Mike Fox said, I didn't report my knee injury the day of the incident because I thought it was only inflammation, but thanks to you guys, knowledge is power. 3 years is what we have, but I reported mine within 28 days because the pain didn't subside and the MRI showed a torn meniscus.
Yep.
I had surgery and hopefully soon I get good news about my claim being approved since I hired a recommended OWCP attorney. Ryan said, any offices in Minnesota?
Not yet. Sorry. It's one of those states that there's a lot of red tape you got to cut through to get through.
Kim Davis said, clarification on my previous question, so I know if you're off your route 2 years, you lose your route, but you lose your compensation as well. I thought you receive work comp until you can't go back to work or find another job within your restrictions. What if you can't work for like 4 years? The last 2 years are without pay?
Well, that rural carrier contract is tricky. It's not like the other ones. And I got to be honest, I read it a while back, but it's been a little time. So I'd have to go back and reread your contract. The problem with these union contracts is NRLCA, NALC, NPMHU, I'm just spitting out letters randomly, APW, AFGE, and the others. You all have different contracts, and none of them are the same. So it's hard for me to, I don't really fully understand all the details of every union contract. You need to go back and consult your union.
Ron Speakman said, love your shirt, LOL.
Thanks, Ron.
Carol said, are you guys feeling better? Yes, and this one had to get glasses.
Today, yeah, I had to go. It's like I've been having a headache by 10 a.m. every day just from like having my eyes open.
Emma, hi from California. Carol said, are you going to put in your new book a chapter on how to navigate through the OWCP website and how to submit items on it? That's a good idea.
I am now.
There you go.
Now I can't wait to write about e-comp. I'm all over it.
Loretta said, can you get a second opinion even if your claim has been approved? Do they pay for that?
Yeah, you can get a second opinion.
Carol said, thanks. I'm going to go back to Dr. Campbell for my shoulder. She just got my knee and my trigger finger.
Excellent.
Lizette said, I work at the processing plant and my hearing is affecting me. Can I file that?
Yes, you can. You definitely can, 100%. It's a CA2 claim, unless it all happened in a single shift. I just doubt it. It probably happened over multiple shifts. So you want to report it on CA2.
Portal Maria said, does the doctor you see at federal injury centers become your primary care doctor?
Well, not your primary care doctor. That's a different thing, but they will become your treating physician under OWCP.
Yeah, so when you're talking about PCP and DOL,
Two different things.
Two different things. Now, if your doctor wants to become a DOL doctor, have him contact me at Gini@federalinjurycenters.com.
Him or her.
Him
they
or
make,
her,
They
yeah.
make real doctors too.
Really? Rajesh said, any office in the Jersey City area? Not yet.
No.
Rich Ray said, not yet, with a mad face.
Tell me about it, Rich. Freaking New York.
Michelle, any centers in upstate New York?
Working on it. Look, New York has the most red tape. It's ridiculous. In fact, California has it too, but we found a solution, sort of a workaround, and we're going to use that same workaround in New York. So just thank you for your patience. I don't deserve it. We're doing the very best we can, though. We're working hard on it.
Pat Hardman said, y'all,
What's
I
up?
let the time slip up and missed the first part. I've been seeing Dr. Harper and Bessemer for a couple weeks now. Unbelievable the number of people I've talked to there that have already had results. By the way, they are now at 418 claims accepted. Woo, Dr. Harper.
And we know that because we have a whiteboard in our offices where he posts a number of accepted claims. 418 is okay. He can try. He could do better. He could do better, but that's pretty good. It's a good start.
They are so dedicated to getting this done. My daughter couldn't believe that I had given them any insurance info in case DOL wouldn't approve. I'm confident that I will be approved.
Yeah, me too.
If you see Dr. Harper, yeah.
Yeah, I was actually, he called me on Sunday, and just to check on me, because he's a nice guy. And and he's going to start that knee program, too.
Is he?
Oh, yeah. Oh, are you
that's
kidding
right.
me?
You did talk to him Sunday.
I mean, nobody's helped more carriers than Dr. Harper has.
Yep.
So he knows better than anybody how many knee problems there are out there, so he's going to be starting that, too. I think he's already got the equipment.
Carol Jarman said, one more question. Can I claim my schedule award for my trigger finger at the same case number, or do I have to wait until my knee recovery is clear?
No, you can go ahead and do it.
Talisha said, mines don't care. They're friends with each other. That's why I'm having such a hard time with the union when you told her the union.
Sorry about that.
Rich Ray said, I have grievance templates. NALC stewards message me your email and I will send them ASAP.
Yeah.
Mike Joseph.
Thank you, Rich.
Mike Joseph said, hey Chris, love you guys. Been following you for a while.
So,
Thanks
Mike.
so much. Read both your books. They're so informative. One thing I feel like it didn't cover, and I'd like to ask tonight is what happens with full disability? How many portions of your body have to be affected to get disability, and are you never allowed to work again if they approve that? Thanks.
That's a wonderful question. And I want to point out to everyone else, the last chapter in the second book is about disability. It's the last chapter in the second book because it's my least favorite subject. Anyways.
Hold on. Stopped working.
All right, so let me tell you about disability. No, it's still going.
No, there it is.
In order to file for disability, federal disability, through the Office of Personnel Management, all it takes, and this is awful, okay, I'm saying all it takes, like it's not a big deal. It's a huge deal because you're having to even consider it. With that said, all it takes is that you have a condition that prevents you from doing that job. So I've been talking about letter carriers tonight. Let's say that you've got a condition where you cannot walk. You're in a wheelchair. That's awful, Okay, I don't want that to happen. But if you're in a wheelchair, you can't carry the mail. And so you would be permanently disabled from that job. Federal disability states that you're disabled from that position. You could, in that wheelchair, go be a clerk. You could go work at TSA. I don't know. Okay, look, I'm just saying, like, you could do other federal jobs. You can't do that, that job. You also could, in the wheelchair, go work at Subway. All right, you could do that. You're not permanently disabled from work. You're permanently disabled from walking 10 miles a day carrying the mail, or whatever your job is that your injury disables you from. If you qualify for OPM, Office of Personnel Management, federal disability, then in year 1 you get 60% of your income. And starting in year 2 you get 40%. So that's awful. It's terrible. It's a bad situation for everyone. But you can also get a non-federal job that pays you up to 80% of your income at the same time. So let's say that you were making, I'm using this number for round numbers, let's say somebody was making $100,000. By year 2 of federal disability, they're now making 40. But they could still make up to 80% of that previous 100 at the same time. So you could make 80 and 40, making 120,000. So you could actually come out making more money if you had a non-federal job that paid you up to 80% of your income on top of your federal disability payments. That's a long answer. It's confusing. I write about it in the last chapter of the last book, and I'm happy to answer more questions about it if that wasn't adequate.
Lizette said, I was injured back in September. My manager each time told me to go see his holistic brother, who is a doctor but never filed my CA2. So I was paying out of pocket until May when I couldn't take it anymore. My claim is accepted. Can I get my money back from them, or is the time limit up?
There is no time limit. You're alive. Go get it back. Get a form OWCP 915, attach all your receipts, and turn it into your claims examiner through econ.
Lisa Rivera said, is there a time limit on reimbursement for medical bills paid before a claim was approved?
No, the same answer as before. Once your claim is approved, get an OWCP 915 form, a claim for medical reimbursement, attach all your receipts of the stuff you paid, and turn it into your claims examiner.
Michael Young said, I fell and hurt my knee in 2019, and come to find out I had osteoarthritis, which was an issue until my fall. I have a total knee replacement with OWCP, which OWCP keeps refusing. What can I do?
Well, they're refusing the total knee replacement based on the diagnosis. I'm guessing that your approved condition is like knee sprain. That's my guess. I'm just guessing. If that's the case, they will never approve the surgery. In that case, your doctor will have to do a diagnosis expansion report to add the more severe diagnosis that is obviously happening in there.
Loretta said, if you need knee surgery, can you pick your own doctor of choice, and will work comp still pay?
Yes and yes.
But the doctor must be credentialed with Department of Labor as well.
Right.
Michelle said, now federal workers can put claims in for having COVID. We were told to claim comp. The supervisors are giving employees a hard time. It won't help them fill out. What should we put in the claim on eComp? Do we call DOL if the job won't file our claims?
All right, so you go to eComp. I've read about this. And you're filling out on a CA1. And what eComp is doing is it's not even asking you the questions that aren't related to COVID. And so it's a limited CA1 form. And your supervisors are not asked questions that would otherwise hose your case. So you go on eComp and fill it out, and your supervisor will be prompted to fill out their part, and they are required to fill it out. And even if they say something that's a lie, they can be held responsible for that. It is a crime punishable by fines in prison to knowingly make false statements in connection with an OWCP claim.
Renee Marie said, my case has been accepted, but with the initial diagnosis of a strain, it looks like they never got the updates on being referred to the other doctors or results from tests. Can I jumpstart the update by submitting MRI reports and similar test results, or is a narrative the only thing to do?
Your doctor needs to write a narrative report explaining why all that other stuff is relevant. You don't just submit it. I've seen that, and the claims examiners 100% of the time deny it.
Frank LaPointe said, how long can I work in a sedentary modified role?
As long as they'll let you. Get with your union, though.
Carol said, modified forever. I lost my route, but then they put you on a dummy route and say, stay there until you retire, providing they have work for you.
Well, if they're also paying you, for that route, that's good, I guess. But that's an option. I've heard of it before.
Pat said, in the denied spot now, seeing Dr. Harper now, do I file CA7s now, even though they said it won't be considered?
No, you need to start filling them out. Don't wait till your claim is approved to fill this stuff out because it can be overwhelming. So keep up with it as you go. Keep up with it week to week. And then as soon as the claim's approved, you turn that stuff in.
Sharon, we do have offices in DC and Maryland. Go to federalinjurycenters.com and click the locations tab and you will find that there. Work comp denied a second opinion. Sharon said, do you have any hand doctors in Central Florida?
Well, not hand doctors, but we are talking with some specialists, extremity surgeons, spine surgeons, etc. And so, I mean, I'm sure our doctors, I know for sure, our doctors can make referrals as needed. So you just go to your doctor and tell them that you need a hand surgeon. They'll know you need one, and they'll help you find one.
Edwin Lozada said, been having bad knee issues while on work comp for a different traumatic injury. Do I have to wait to get back to work to claim this knee issue? CA2? Wait,
read it again? Sorry. Been having bad knee issues while on workers' comp for a different traumatic injury. Do I have to wait to get back to work to claim it? No. Okay, no. Definitely don't wait. Nobody ever wait. Ever. Remember, you have a 3-year timeline to report injuries. Never wait, ever. I recommend going back tomorrow and reporting it.
Lizette said, thank you all so much. Y'all rock. I'm going to buy the books and schedule to visit the center in Dallas.
Great.
Nice.
Great.
Finally kicked in. Shelly said, hello, I didn't know occupational disease is an accident.
Well, it's not necessarily an accident. It's generally something that just develops over time and it's reported on a CA2 form.
Carol said, didn't get my answer. My husband was talking when you answered the question about, can I get my schedule award for my trigger finger, which on the case number, and get the knee later when I recover?
The answer is yes, you can definitely do that.
Mary D. Pilato said, when you apply for OPM disability, you have to apply for Social Security or they won't take your application.
That's right. You have to apply for Social Security, but you don't have to be awarded Social Security. You just have to prove that you applied.
Jenny Mills said, when will you guys be talking about schedule award? I keep getting denied.
Well, heck, I'll talk about it next week.
We'll talk about schedule award next week.
Ask and you shall receive.
Darlene said, what is the difference between federal disability, TET?
I don't know what TET stands for, but federal disability is disability that only federal employees have access to. It's through the Office of Personnel Management, OPM, and it states that essentially if you have any problem, it doesn't have to be a work injury. It could be anything. Like in my book, I wrote about somebody who had their arm bit off by a shark. Okay.
So this is her. What's the difference between federal disability retirement with PPM and disability?
I still don't know what PPM is. So, okay, I'm a pretty smart guy, but sometimes acronyms throw me off. So you may have to spell that stuff out. So I can't even finish answering that question until I know what PPM stands for.
Yes, like Renee said, we have videos how to file your CA7s and when to file your CA7s. So once we're done, yeah, that's what I meant. You just go back to that video, look for the heading, and you'll find that. Question, Ricardo. If one is on OWCP disability, now wanting carrier to work part-time outside the USPS, can one switch to OPM disability?
You can. I don't know why you'd have to switch. If you're still under doctor's care for an OWCP claim, you should finish that out before you start making decisions on your future disability. I mean, gosh, what if you get all the way better?
Shelly Carter said, I have a pre-existing condition and work aggravated it, and I submitted a CA2 today. I have to go in tomorrow and fill out the accident forms. I didn't know occupational disease was considered an accident.
It's not. It's considered something that develops over time, but fill the forms out anyways because don't rock the boat.
Carol said, ask and you shall receive. Winning lotto numbers, please, I'll share.
3, 16, 19, 23, 45, and 58.
Well, that's it, everybody. Thank you for your questions. We hope that tonight, talking about knee injuries that you guys face, you guys can get them submitted and filed and see doctors for this. And if you need a doctor, please go to federalinjurycenters.com. Also down below, I have pinned, Renee Marie has pinned our Breaking OWCP, where you can buy the book. Our two websites, federalinjurycenters.com, OWCPchats.com, our phone number, Attorney Eric Blowers' phone number. We are on the iPhone and the Android for an app. All you do is look for federalinjurycenters.com. This exact logo is on there. And so iPhone or app, Federal Injury Centers, and then check out Chris on TikTok and Instagram, and he is at Breaking OWCP.
Yeah, now look, I just started these accounts because I was told that I needed to, so I started doing that. I posted a couple of things on Instagram. I'm sitting here on social media, so I shouldn't have a problem with this, but I will. And when I start doing TikTok videos, I'll try to keep them about OWCP, but if I start doing if I can hit this ball into that cup over there, just watch it and bear with me, because I'm going to start just having fun with it. Now, I'm not done yet. I have one more thing. This is really important to me. I have been, not just myself, oh my goodness, all of us have been spending a lot of time training a lot of doctors, a lot of staff, front desk receptionists, case managers, nurses, nurse practitioners, PAs, medical doctors, chiropractors. We're training so many people in so many places that it would be wrong for me not to tell you who I've been working with. And so I just want to tell you, now again, choose your own doctor. Me telling you about doctors I'm training is not you needing to think, I'm telling you, you must go there. You have the right to choose your own doctor. If you like to win, choose ours. You can go to federalinjurycenters.com, go to the locations tab, and see for yourself if there's anything that makes sense for you. But just today, I was working with Dr. Krishma Giuliani in Miami. And she's super, super enthusiastic. Her staff's enthusiastic. They're just really, really excited to be able to help. And so in 3 weeks, we're actually going to be in Miami working with her one-on-one. And we hope to see you there in Miami. Dr. Harper, I told you, I've been talking with Dr. Harper a lot. He's starting the knee program. I'm super excited. He's in Birmingham and Montgomery. Those of you that have been here this whole time, you're seeing people swear by him because he's freaking great. He's just a winner. He is a approval machine. What?
Mike Joseph says, does the federal contracting count as a disability, non-federal government job?
Sometimes.
That's the last question.
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, it depends. Contractors can be covered under this program, though. Dr. Cooper where's he at?
Cooper is in Phoenix City. He's in Columbus, Georgia, and Atlanta.
Okay, well, it's South Atlanta, but he's got all this equipment and can handle those knee injuries I was talking about and everything else. And Dr. Heiler in Naples, I mean, he's got a first-class office that includes all this equipment that I was talking about, so they can help you with that stuff too. It's really important that you understand that. Dr. Lee here in Pinellas Park, he's like 15 minutes away from the Bay Pines VA, and you're standing all day long, so he can help you with that too. Carriers, clerks, mail handlers who are on their feet all day, every day for 10, 20, 30 years, he can help you. So I just want you to know, I've been dealing with all these doctors, talking with them, training with them, doing follow-up trainings, and they're catching it. They're catching on really good. Their staff is catching on really good. We're going to start saving your life at the intake point. When you make your first phone call to the office, our receptionists know how to save your life. Okay? They know how to financially fix your problems. So anyways, I'm just telling you, give them a call if it makes sense to you. And I've been asked to say again, how do you find a doctor? Well, if you don't go straight to Federal Injury Centers, you go to Google. Right. Now, I don't need Google, okay? My wife knows everything.
I don't.
But, you may not have my wife to ask questions to, so you have to go to Google. At which point, you can Google image search and see if, your doctor had any problems in the past that, you might be ashamed of if you went. You can search the medical licensing board for your state. You can find out if there's any problems for the doctor in your state. And, you can look at reviews online, and you can just come here and you can see what people are saying about doctors here. But I don't recommend just showing up to doctors' offices blind, not knowing what's going on, and then next thing you know, you have a denial, because 6 out of 7 injured people have denied claims. And that's happening because you're going to the wrong doctors. And you're going to the wrong doctors because you don't know any better. Well, now you're here. Now you know. So do your due diligence when you're talking or when you're thinking about going to see a doctor, whether it's mine or someone else's. Don't just show up blind and then next thing you know you have a denied claim. We're trying to prevent denied claims.
Yeah, Frank, you asked if we had anything in Oregon or Vancouver, Washington. We have a location in Bremerton, Washington. So just go on federalinjurycenters.com and you'll find the location and phone number.
Yep. Hey, Ron Jackson's watching. What's up, Ron? I didn't say hi to you tonight.
He just hopped on.
Thanks for being here.
Well, thank you guys. We wanted to let you know since you guys brought it up. So next week we will be talking about schedule award. We'll
Tell your friends. Like, follow, and share.
To schedule award. We always talk about those two things together because they go together.
And I'm going to be spending a lot of time on the chapter in the second book. That's a second book. I'm going to be talking about how to calculate your own schedule award. It's going to be huge. You don't know how. How do I know? Because there's nothing out there that tells you how, except for in these books. So I'm going to show you how to calculate your schedule award, and I'm going to answer all of your schedule award questions next Wednesday, a week from tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Time.
Yeah, Ashley, we live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on this page. Since you're new with us, don't forget to follow, like, and share. Don't forget to add your coworkers and share for a $100 gift card of your choice as a share winner for the end of the month. And Renee Marie said, Federal Injury Centers is basically the Avengers for federal workers. Join the family for a win. I love that. I got goosebumps.
So I love the Avengers. I'm a Marvel nut.
Yeah.
That's the nicest thing anybody ever said to me.
All right.
Thank you.
And then Miss Bryant said, I need that book and I will be tuning in next week, and I'm up to that part. So those of you that really want to follow us, next Wednesday, Volume 2 has all the schedule award information.
So there's stuff in Volume 1 as well, but
more in Volume 2.
Yeah.
So as soon as you guys get off, number 1, click the follow button. Number 2, share it to your friends and your Facebook pages. Number 3, order both books. And
at breakingowcp.com.
Yeah, just go ahead. The pin down below here, Renee Remy. This girl, I'm going to have to talk to you, change your last name. Renee pinned everything down below, and we will see you guys next week. Thanks for your questions and all your support, guys. Have a good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.